Hey guys, Captain Foley back with you again today for another video, and today we're going to be answering the questions you guys had for my Who is Captain Foley video. A lot of you put in some questions. It's a good amount of questions, which I'm going to address now. This video is coming, being released to you the week that I just got back from LA. So there will be an LA video coming. A captain's log style mission log, if you will, of the trip that me and Sylvia took to LA. So expect that probably next week or coming up very soon, regardless. So I'm going to answer your questions and kind of get this all sorted. If you have any other questions for me, you can throw them in the comments down below as well if you missed the first video. I do want to kind of make these a more regular thing and kind of get back to doing a regular-ish captain's log style video, which a lot of people apparently missed, as I saw from the comments. So we're going to get into that right now, with the first question being from Fleetpaw Swiftback, who is one of our moderators, both on the Trekyards YouTube as well as the Trekyards Facebook. He is a moderator and admin, and one of my best ones, if not the best one. So thank you, Fleetpaw, for the question. He says, money is no option. You have the opportunity to purchase one collectible that you don't have and is super hard to come by. What are you buying and why? Fantastic question. There's multiple answers to this, honestly. I would love to buy the Enterprise, the TOS Enterprise from the Smithsonian. Not going to happen, but there you go. Other than that, I just watched the Greg Jean auction, and there was quite a few awesome things there as well, including the dedication plaque from Trials and Tribulations that was on the remake of The Bridge. I actually have my wall of plaques over here, dedication plaques from Eagle Moss and whatnot, including my Foley class one that was 3D printed. I think that would be an awesome one to have. There was also the Enterprise E. Other than that, any screen used ship models, specifically an Enterprise, the one that Jeff Bezos has, the refit, would be amazing. It's a question I can't answer, because regardless of what I say, I'm going to think of another answer later, or I'm going to see something that I would be like, I should have said that. So thank you for the question, Fleetpaw. It is quite an interesting one, and I don't have a concise answer for you. So it's not a great way to kick off this Ask Me Anything and I Answered video. So I apologize for that. Alright, so let's move on to question number 2 from Beetle Boy Levi. How did you get into Trek? What brought you to the franchise? And if you had to pick one episode or movie as your favorite or comfort watch, what would it be? Again, a very detailed and complicated question. First of all, with what got me into Trek? Well, I just always had Trek around. My brothers were both Trekkies. My oldest brother is 10 years older than me. The middle brother is 7 years older than me, and then I came along quite a bit after. So they were already well established as Trekkies. So since I was a baby, it was just always around. They had Starfleet uniforms. They had the adventure set with the phaser and the tricorder and stuff like that from back in the day. They just always were into Trek. So it was just always something I had around me. I just grew up with it. My brother even had a huge mural painted on one wall of his bedroom, which had like a planetscape and the Enterprise and a Romulan bird of prey and a Klingon D7 painted on it. It was beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't think any pictures of that remain, but it was one thing that I definitely remembered, and I was quite envious of that he had that as like his one wall was just this huge mural that was painted by a friend of the family who was a very talented artist. I've asked around if there are pictures of it that I could show off at some point. So far we haven't found any, and it's kind of a shame. So yeah, just Trek's always been in my life. I don't remember the first thing I watched that was Trek. I don't remember any of that because it's just always been there. Like a security blanket, maybe. Now you go to the next part of that, and which one episode or movie is my favorite or comfort watch? Again, this is what's your favorite thing, and I inevitably miss something or forget something when I answer these, or think something after the fact. So I don't know what to say specifically for that. I mean, I love Star Trek 2, I love Star Trek 6. Those would probably be like my two go-to ones if I really needed to watch one. Out of the two, I'd probably pick Star Trek 2, of course. As far as favorite episodes go, the one thing that popped into my mind instantly when I read that was I love the Enterprise incident from Season 3 of TOS. I think that's a really fun episode for multiple reasons. And I In the Pale Moonlight, of course, is one as well. There are a number of comfort episodes, including Trials and Tribulations. That's a tough question, and I really don't have an answer. There's so much good Star Trek. Even to pick one favorite episode per show per season, I would still find difficult to do. It'd be a lot easier to kind of nail that down, and maybe at some point I'll make that list. But again, there's so much good Star Trek that's really hard to do. It depends on my mood, on what kind of Star Trek adventure I'm looking for at the time. It's really hard and difficult to answer that. So hopefully that sort of answered your question. But there you go. Now, Ziger Mantube says, might actually be an idea to do separate videos on the different topics, aspects of your life, like Foley PI, where you share a few stories without getting yourself in trouble, of course. Foley the Swordmaster, where you go into what you've studied. Transformers Foley, quick overview of your love for that. Foley the Pug Lover. You can probably hear them snoring behind me right now. They're underneath my desk. They've been snoring the whole time I've been talking. Now they stop. And then self-explanatory Master Foley, Depraved Confessions from the Bedroom. I mean, I'm pretty vocal about those kind of things in general. Sorry, my screensaver kicked on here. So, yeah, those... we won't get into too much detail with the bedroom things, but hey. And then he goes on to say, these are the droids I'm looking for, about your love of droids. Yeah, I also have a love for astromech droids. So he covered a lot of stuff there, which I could break down in separate videos, and I think I probably will at some point. That's what this Captain Foley channel is all about. Me as a whole person, I have a lot of interests, not just Star Trek. There are many things that interest me, and that's what this channel is about. To highlight those and show those off and talk about them and whatnot. So yes, I think that is something that I would definitely be up for doing at some point. So there you go. I will do that at some point. And I think a lot of these ones you pointed out might get addressed in some of the following questions that I'm going to answer. So there you go. We'll see about that. I like Foley PI. I like that. Dun 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 dun. Magnum PI. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving on. Adam Wozniak 1727 says, "Hi Captain, are you planning on getting back to model building? I remember your old videos like the Enterprise C, etc." Or as an example, this is actually what got me into model building myself. Oof. If you don't have time or desire to finish a 350 refit, maybe something smaller. Also, I really enjoyed your weekly captain's logs. Any plans on doing something similar? Great questions there. Let's just address them one at a time. Are you planning on getting back into model building? I never got out of model building. My model building table is right there. Right now it's covered with a few things, and I don't have my paint rack since I've moved the table, so I don't have easy access to my paints. Which I'm using as an excuse to not build models. Lately I've just been in a bit of a funk and have not had the desire to build any. So yes, I'm still in the model building. I'll still be doing model building videos. I have done a few since then, which we'll talk about in just a second here. He remembers my old video on the Enterprise C. Yes, the Enterprise C build, I went into that not liking the Ambassador class, by the end of it, I absolutely loved the ship design. It's actually right up here behind me in all my videos. You just can't see it because it's too high. It is now one of my favorite ship classes. So thank you for watching those. I'm so glad it got you into model building. That is amazing. I love the influence that just making a video of something I enjoy does for other people. That makes me feel so good that I can help people out and influence their lives in some small way. I really appreciate you telling me that, so thank you so much. If you don't have time or desire to finish your 350, maybe something else. Something smaller. I've done a few things smaller since then. I'm going to show you a picture of my model building table right now. You already saw it. It's very cluttered right now. It's got some random stuff on it. I will get to doing more. I have done a few things since, though. In the meantime, I built my Bandai Enterprise E. I did that, both an edited video on that as well as a live build of it. So I do things like that from time to time. I've done a few other small things. I built a Mandalorian figure, the Bandai model Mandalorian figure, as well as the Bandai hologram R2-D2. There's a bunch of Bandai kits I need to do. I'll show them here. There's a bunch of stuff up there. Plus, also, I did do the Enterprise D Advent calendar, which was essentially a model build last year for Christmas. So, and I actually have one here. It's not really an Advent calendar, it's a 12 Days of Christmas calendar, so I'm not sure if I'm going to start that on Christmas Day and just review one item per day till January 5th. That might be something that I do. I don't know, we'll see. But I have done some things on the channel. If you do look up Captain Foley model, you should probably find a lot of those builds. So thank you very much, Adam. Next up is Deshibi Video. He says, I remember the old Captain's logs and you'd answer our questions and have a relaxed chat. Hey Captain, it's been a while. Still owe you a beer if you ever come to Australia. Absolutely, I'll take you up on that. I can't remember if you ever talked about Top Gun Maverick. I seem to remember one of your favorite planes is the F-14 Tomcat. So what are your thoughts? I loved it, even teared up a bit at some of the emotional scenes. Ha ha ha. I did talk about it in the lead up. I also, after seeing it, did do a quick, I talked about it on one of my lives, which gets back to the first part of this. You remember the old Captain's log videos where I answer the questions in a relaxed chat? Yeah, that's kind of what this is. I want to start maybe kicking those off again because it was just a chance for me to give my thoughts in kind of a more concise manner. However, the problem is I do a lot of late night lives now where that's essentially what happens. You guys, I read everybody's comment and I talk about each thing as it comes up. So I've kind of change the Captain's Logs videos into the live videos, and I understand not a lot of people are up that time depending on your time zone or things like that, because I usually do them around 9 or 10 Eastern Standard Time, like 9 or 10 p.m. So I understand that not everybody can watch them. I don't know if they want to watch them after the fact, but again, a lot of them are an hour and a half or 2 hours long, so it might be difficult for people to watch those. I might get back into doing the Captain's Logs and picking a specific topic and then reading your questions from the previous one. This might be the start of that, this video. So like I said, if you comment down below anything else you want to ask based on what I said here, or if you missed the first one, ask a question and I'll do another video like this and I'll call them Captain's Logs if you guys really want. So hopefully that's good. Now, as for Top Gun Maverick, yes, one of our, again, a good friend of mine now, and one of our moderators and administrators on the YouTube and Facebook. His name is Matt Boardman. He was a visual effects artist or supervisor, not supervisor. I forget his exact title, but he did visual effects for Top Gun Maverick, and I loved Top Gun Maverick. I thought it was fantastic. Me and Sylvia just recently, 2 or 3 days ago, watched Top Gun and then Top Gun Maverick. I've only seen Top Gun Maverick 3 times. I've seen Top Gun well over 150 times at this point. I know, it's insane, but it's true. And yes, the F-14 is my all-time favorite fighter jet. It's such a beautiful plane. We need more of it in our lives. It's in a few different movies like The Final Countdown, and I think Air Force One has it. There's a few that have little moments of F-14s, and I always get so excited when I see the F-14s. So, yes, the F-14 is my favorite. Yes, I thought Top Gun Maverick was fantastically done. Dare I say better than the original? Maybe. When I first watched it, I thought it was more like Top Gun Light. You know, you take the first you take the opening of it, you take the last bit with the F-14. That's all the movie I needed. But at the same time, after rewatching them both, I think Top Gun Maverick is fantastically done. I really wish they weren't F-18s. F-18 is just, you know, it's just an F-14 light in my opinion. But I don't hate the F-18 by any means. It's just, I'm kind of hold a little bit of a grudge against it for replacing the F-14 Tomcat. But anyway, I would have preferred if they used F-22 Lightnings or something in that, but we all know that the F-22 Lightning has skipped leg day and doesn't have landing gear strong enough to land on a carrier. So there's a lot of things about Top Gun Maverick that I enjoy, but a lot of things I'm kind of like about. Perfect casting for Rooster. I think they did a fantastic job using that actor as Goose's son. I thought it was great. It was some really fun moments, and of course to see the F-14 just topped it all off for me. Plus they did the split throttle maneuver, which I got to appreciate because that is a cool F-14 maneuver, absolutely. So anyway, that is that. And yeah, did I cry? Not really. Did I get teared up? Maybe a little, but yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. Sorry about that. I had to actually fix this LCARS because it's supposed to be on random shuffle for this playlist and it just stopped. So it always annoys me when that happens in the background. I love LCARS in the background. I'm a big LCARS fan. Let's see. Next one is T-Bone2501. Men want to be him and women want to be with him. I don't know about that. But thank you for the comment. The man, the myth, the legend. That's a little too much. But thank you. Andrew Milner 3480. Do you actually smoke the pipe? Now, by the pipe, I assume you're talking about my Sherlock Holmes meerschaum pipe, which is upstairs. My dad just bought me that for my birthday, which was in May. It took a while to come in because he had special ordered it. But no, I actually don't smoke a pipe. I've never smoked a pipe. My dad used to smoke pipes when I was young. He used to have like cherry scented tobacco and all this really fragrant, really nice smelling tobaccos. I don't smoke a pipe. I occasionally smoke cigarillos. I used to do that quite a bit more often and kind of developed a cough from it. Now I have the occasional vape or whatever, but I really don't smoke. I never smoked anything until I was like 34, 35. I was very kind of like no smoking. But you know, I've mellowed out a bit. I don't do it very often. It's one of those things. Will I consider smoking a pipe? Maybe. Now that I have the meerschaum pipe, I do have some of my dad's old cherrywood pipes as well. I'm looking at getting one of the long ones that Sherlock Holmes had. If you watch the Jeremy Brett Granada series, Sherlock Holmes, one of those ones. Because honestly, the meerschaum pipe and the deerstalker hat are kind of cliches. They're mentioned like once in the original stories, and it became popular thanks to William Gillette, who played Sherlock Holmes on stage, and that kind of became the archetypal look for Sherlock Holmes, the deerstalker and the meerschaum pipe. I would like to maybe try smoking it, but at the same time, it's a really expensive pipe, and I don't know if I want to get the bowl dirty. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, good question. Thank you so much for asking. Scott Rubin 4478. What's your education and career background? How did you take steps to share your fandom with the world? There's one reply to that. Let's see what that is. Yeah, okay. I'll have to get into this. Okay, so my education and career background. I only have high school. I did not go to college. I was originally accepted to law and security at, was it Niagara College? I got accepted for an after high school education. Didn't end up going because it was quite a distance. And my brother before me, Sean, he had gone up to North Bay to do something for post-secondary education, and he kind of, it didn't go so well, and as a result, my dad was quite hesitant for me to go anywhere after that, because he thought the same thing might happen, and he didn't want that. So, no, I applied for a security guard job with a company out of Burlington, Ontario, and when I applied, they said, we're also hiring private investigators. Are you interested? I'm like, absolutely, hell yes, sign me up. I grew up watching Magnum PI with my dad. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. So went and got my PI license and did that for a number of years. I've had a lot of jobs. I worked at McDonald's for 3 months as my first job. Then I worked at Stratford Library for like 3 years after that. I've worked in retail. I was an assistant manager at Blockbuster. I was an assistant manager at People's Jewelers. I've worked in a few factories. I've had a wide variety of jobs. I did PI work for a lot of years, and then it was really odd hours, and I was away from home a lot. And then once I had kids, I decided it's not for me anymore. So I got those more mainstream jobs like People's Jewelers and Blockbuster Video. And because it was closer to home, better hours, got to see my family. After a while, after a few years, moved to London, started working in a call center, which I don't do well at all in that kind of environment. But on the plus side, that's where I met Sylvia, and super happy about everything with Sylvia. She's an amazing, amazing person. Absolutely love that woman. So it worked out for the best in that regard. I did quit that job before they had a chance to fire me, because I told the customer to basically go F themselves after working there for like a year, because I was just I was fed up with being accused of or being yelled at by customers that were unhappy when I had nothing to do with the situation. I just worked for the company. Be nice to your customer service representatives, guys. They have a shitty job as it is. So after that, I stood up and I quit before they had a chance to fire me, and then got back into PI work for a number of years. And then it leads into sharing this fandom with the world. I started making YouTube videos at the behest of Sylvia, because I would talk to her about stuff, and she's like, you should make videos, you should make videos. So after a while, I started making videos, and then Sam saw them, and he learned a few things, and he contacted me, and he made an opening for the channel, and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, Trekyards was formed. We both found out we love ships, and we wanted to make a show that we'd want to watch about ships and technology, and hence Trekyards was born. And here, we just celebrated our 9-year anniversary. We've been around doing this for 9 years now. It'll be a decade next October, so I'm super excited about that. But that kind of what led to this, and it got to the point where I didn't need to do any other work, so this is what I do now. So, and I love it. This is the job I've actually enjoyed the most. Most jobs, because of my attention deficit disorder and my anxiety, I usually only really enjoy for like a month to 3 months, and then I just dread every moment that I'm not working, because I have to go to work. I can't even enjoy my weekends because I know I have to go back to work. It became a thing. This job I don't dread. I mean, there's the odd live where I'm like, I don't feel like doing a live, but once I get on the live, it's fine, and it's still a job. It's just a different kind of job. So there's a lot more to that story, but I don't want to get into it here because it'll be too long a video. I should just make a video how Trekyards started and talk about that. And then Ziger ManTube chimes in and says, yeah, tell us more about your time as a PI. Maybe do a video where you share a few stories without getting yourself in trouble, of course. Might actually be an idea to do separate videos on different topics, aspects of your life, like Foley PI, Foley Swordmaster, Transformers Foley, and Foley the Pug Lover. Same comment as before, but thank you. Yes, I might do that. I might talk about it. It's not something I really enjoy talking about. It's a very boring job. You don't get a gun, you don't get a fancy red sports car, so it's not Magnum PI by any means. It's a lot of sitting in cars or doing other things, waiting for hours, lots of paperwork, occasionally have to go into court to testify for things. It's not a fun job. It's not awesome or anything. and I've done a few different kinds of it. I did family, corporate, like insurance stuff, as well as some cyber stuff. So I've done a lot in that field. I did that for a number of years. It's not who I am anymore. I used to hang my identity on that fact, but it's definitely not me anymore. So will there be other videos talking about it? Possibly. Moving on to the next one. New Yorker in Vegas says 2 questions. One fun, one not so much. Oh no. Number 1, which Star Trek convention was your favorite to attend and why? And number 2, what has been the biggest challenge in growing Trekyards? Alright, so number 1, my favorite Star Trek convention, which was my favorite and why. Probably the Star Trek convention in the Las Vegas Star Trek convention in 2013. I went with Sylvia, and that's where we actually got married. We did not get married at the convention, nor did we get married by Kirk, nor did we get married at one of those little, you know, marry yourself here on the strip kind of thing. No, we got married in a helicopter above the strip at night, which was fantastically phenomenal. I got some really great pictures of the strip at night. Basically take off from the airport, which is by the Luxor, which was where we were staying. You fly down the entire length of the strip. As you're going around the Stratosphere, the tall hotel, Stratosphere, that's when the vows are said and you get married, and then on the way back you're married. So the way down, you're not married, the way back you are. Does that mean we're married? Because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but we were above Vegas. So yeah, 2013 Las Vegas Star Trek Convention is probably my favorite, followed very closely by the 2019 Star Trek Convention that I attended with Sam. In a way, the 2019 was better because Trekyards was a thing then. Like the 2013 one when I went with Sylvia, Trekyards wasn't even a twinkle in anybody's eye. It wasn't even a plan. It wasn't even a thought. But going back in 2019 with Sam, we were recognized. People knew Trekyards. That's a fantastic feeling to have people come up and say they enjoy your work, or to want to hang out with you or get a picture with you. So that was enjoyable for a different set of reasons. Plus, we got to hang out with Rod Roddenberry and like Chris Doohan and stuff at the Voodoo Lounge and have a really good party up on the hotel lounge on the roof. It was a fantastic time. So I gotta say, just Star Trek Las Vegas in general. I haven't been now since that creation lost the license for it, and it seems more like Star Trek convention bought from Wish now because they can't use any of the licensed stuff really. I don't know. We are going to be going back in 2024. That is the plan for me and Sam, to go back in 2024 to Star Trek Las Vegas. So if you're going, we'll see you there. If things change, things change. But as of right now, that is the plan. So, and what has been the biggest challenge in growing Trekyards? Struggling with the algorithm, struggling with YouTube. YouTube doesn't push our content. The algorithm's never been in our favor. Actually, I shouldn't say that. The first like year or two, we really grew quite a lot. Like we were niche. We were the only weekly Star Trek content on at the time. And when we started in 2014, there was no indication that Star Trek Discovery was going to be happening. We didn't know New Trek was coming. We prided ourselves in being the only weekly Star Trek content on the air. And there were a lot of Star Trek YouTube channels that popped up after the fact, after Discovery became a thing, and now there's all of these, now we're awash in Star Trek channels, most of which that have skyrocketed right past us as far as viewership goes, for one reason or another. Like Trek Culture, they're sponsored by the What Culture people, so they got a bigger push and a bigger, set of people working for them, and then you get other ones that focus on the hate, the negativity, like Nerdrotic and stuff like that. They don't focus on Star Trek specifically, but they went right by us in subscribers. We're still not at 70,000 yet, which for 9 years in isn't great as far as numbers go. So the biggest thing for us has been struggling to get subscribers and to get eyeballs on our content. We have a very niche and awesome Star Trek community. So the people that love Trekyards absolutely love us, and they tune in for things like this. They tune in for my late night lives. But in the long run, it's just been getting subscribers that's been the most challenging thing in growing Trekyards. I still want to get 100,000 subscribers. I still want to get that silver play button. I think that's my goal right now. And for 10 years, I mean, I think Steve Shives, his channel hit 100,000 subscribers on his 10th year. We're still not at 70,000 yet, so 30,000 in a year is going to be damn near impossible, I think. But with all the new Trek on, like, we blew up quite a bit in numbers when Star Trek Picard Season 3 happened. But like for Prodigy and Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds, the viewership just isn't there for our content, and I don't know why. The animated stuff I kind of understand, but Strange New Worlds, I don't know. We'll see. They've set the things to look forward to. Section 31 movie, Starfleet Academy show. So there are things on the horizon that might increase our viewership, but honestly, it's up to you guys to help out as well with that. Just share all the Trekyards content. Tell people about Trekyards if they're into Star Trek. Try to spread the Trekyards word, if you will. Yeah, so hopefully that answered your question. It wasn't too long-winded. I think it was too long-winded. Moving on to the next one. ThinkPad Bent Knows the Blind. Wow. Great content as always, Captain. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Please watch the content. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Make sure you're subscribed. Help us out by super chatting or super thanks. Throw a super thanks on this video. I'd really appreciate it. Anything over we do on Trekyards, join us. Help us out in any way you can. Join our Patreon. Do all that stuff. Thank you. Next up is Paul Biza 4571. Which Star Trek movie is your absolute favorite? I would probably go back to Star Trek 2. Just because it was the introduction of the Monster Maroons. You had another ship. You had the Reliant, returning character in Khan. There's a lot to love about Star Trek 2. Now that you've said that, though, even going back to the person that asked before, I think one of my guilty pleasure movies, if you can call it that, is Star Trek 3. Star Trek 3 doesn't get the love that I think it deserves, and as a ship guy, we had the Merchantman ship, we had the Klingon Bird of Prey, we had the Grissom, the Oberth class, we had the Excelsior, we had the refit. There were so many great moments in Star Trek 3. I really love Star Trek 3. I consider Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 as a complete movie, or a trilogy, if you will, and if I could only be restricted to watching 3 Star Trek movies for the rest of my life, it would be those 3. I think they're fantastic. Yeah, I guess Star Trek 3 is like a guilty pleasure movie, but I'd have to say Star Trek 2 would probably be, I don't know. I have them all memorized, so I don't know if that means anything. So there you go. Next is D4 Dodge. Hi, Captain. Great idea. I'm intrigued to know how you made the journey from working guy who enjoys sci-fi and other stuff to full-time YouTuber. I would also like to know how you rate the different screen versions of Sherlock Holmes and the actors who portrayed them. Thanks. Okay, well, I've already kind of addressed the first part of how I kind of phased out of working life that really wrecked my anxiety and really destroyed my quality of life to doing something I enjoy. I think I covered that, so there you go. But rating Sherlock Holmes, that'll be its own video, unfortunately. I can say this. The best interpretation of Sherlock Holmes, in my opinion, is the Granada series' Jeremy Brett. He is fantastic. He is the definitive Holmes for me, and for many people. He is #1. You know who really sucks as Sherlock Holmes? Robert Downey Jr. I hate his interpretation of Sherlock Holmes. It is just some weird, quirky guy, and he is not Holmes, in my opinion. Is he the worst? Absolutely not. But he's down at the bottom of the list, for sure. So hopefully that helps. That'll be a video I've wanted to do for a while. It's just going to take some time to compile all of the people. But there you go. I mean, there's so many actors that have done it. Benedict Cumberbatch. I just had his name in my head. Basil Rathbone, that's it. Ron Howard or Jeremy Howard? That's my pug. That's the pug I was talking about earlier. There's a lot of Sherlock Holmes. It would have to be a more detailed, comprehensive video to explain why and who. But yes, Jeremy Brett's the best, Robert Downey Jr. not so much. So hopefully that helps, and stay tuned on this channel for such a Sherlock Holmes breakdown video. So thank you. Next up is Paul Huck, 1972. Hi, Captain. One of my burning questions is, when are you getting your Tomy Prestige Enterprise, and are you going to do an unboxing? I'm in a more complicated position. I'm from the UK, and I've purchased one through EB Games Australia. Getting it back to the UK is proving to be a logistical nightmare, and I'm expecting it next week, so very excited. I know it's a bit nerdy, but my screensaver kicked in because nerdy. Hold on one second. I'm hoping to unpack mine alongside your unboxing. Oh, that'd be awesome. Anyways, thanks so much for all your great work, Paul H. I don't know when I'm getting it. I just checked in with my friend that it's getting shipped to in Michigan. He has not received it yet. But when he does, he'll let me know and I'll get down there. That being said, this is still... I'm filming this on October 17th, just for full disclosure, and Sylvia and myself are going to LA for October 24th to the 28th. So that's why I said you're seeing this after that, because I wanted to make this because I'm not sure how tired I'll be and whether I'll be able to get a video up before Wednesday, so that's what this video is. So I'm not sure when I'm getting it, but I will be doing an unboxing once I do get it. I need to first hear that it's delivered, then arrange a time to drive down to Michigan to pick it up. It's about, not a long drive, it's about a couple hour drive for me and Sylvia. We'll go pick it up and hang out with my buddy Greg and bring it back and then do the unboxing, and then I'll probably end up doing some breakdown videos on it as well, but I don't know is the answer. Not soon enough. I figured I would have heard something by now because they started shipping October 6th. It's October 17th. As I told somebody else on one of my other lives, if I haven't heard anything by the mid-November, there's going to be problems. I'm going to be upset. So I'm just giving them some time. I mean, it's... And for you, my God, that is a logistical nightmare. You're in the UK, you got it from somewhere in Australia. Shipping from the US, where the only place they would ship to is the US. I don't know how the UK EB got it. Probably through their corporate office, but... So to ship from the US to Australia, then back to the UK, that's a lot of shipping. Unless they're going straight from the US to the UK, which is still... So I feel for you, man. Don't wait for me to unbox it. Don't wait for that video, because I don't know when that's going to be. That might be the end of November. That might be end of December. I don't know. Because not only do I have to drive down to get it, I have to arrange a time to do that. I also have to get it back here and then arrange a time to film and get all that done, that process. So don't wait for me, man. Unbox your shit. So anyway, and lastly, Chris Gwill is a thumbs up, and live long and prosper. So thank you, and that's it. That is this Q&A. Who is Captain Foley? Ask, must answer. You asked, I answered. I don't know, whatever you want to call this. Was it very much like Captain's Log style? Yes, it absolutely was, because this was the old Captain's Log. Used to be each Captain's Log I would film, release, and then when I went to make the next one, I would check the comments and read the comments and talk about what you guys wanted to talk about. But like I said, talking about what you guys wanted to talk about turned into doing late night lives, because you guys can interact with me in real time and ask follow-up questions as I'm talking about particular things. So will the Captain's Logs return? Maybe in some form. We'll see. We'll see what the video response for this is and how many questions or whatever are down below on this particular video as well. So, but I'd like to thank everybody that chimed in with a question. I really appreciate it. I want to thank you for being subscribers of the channel and for watching the content, both this one and the Trekyards channel. So thank you so much. Hopefully you learned a few things. Hopefully I've helped you out in some way. And yeah, so please hit that like button. Thumbs up all the way. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to this channel, the Captain Foley personal channel, so you don't miss any of the new content, such as Captain's Logs returning or whatever. Also check out Trekyards, our main Star Trek channel. If you haven't heard about it, now's your chance. Go check it out, subscribe. And also check out another video by me as well. So until next time, I'm Captain Foley, signing off. Bye, everybody.